Hello, everyone. Welcome to Patriots 3 Life, Liberty, Pursuit of Happiness. And here's your hosts, Tim, Firecracker, and our special guests, Cam and Christian, otherwise known as George. How you all doing tonight?
Good, good. How are you?
Great.
Doing
Uh,
well.
I,
How are
accident- I,
you?
accident- I accidentally called Christian George earlier, and so we've been just rolling off that. So, yeah, please, like, share, and follow on Tim Holliday TV, on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and we're also now on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple Podcasts. So go ahead and share where you can. I'm usually the one that's sharing all over the place, but being that I'm the producer, host, and so on and so forth, it's a little hard for me to do all that in one shot. So tonight we're going to be talking about family values and our United States Constitution. And I left some things out purposely because that might have flagged everything, including on YouTube. This is why I choose going on Rumble. So we have a wonderful author tonight, Cam. Cam, can you tell us a little bit more about this book that you're writing?
Yes, I can. So I was thinking about writing a book for a long time. I just couldn't really find a subject that really stuck to it. I have a lot going on in my life, but this is a big passion of mine. I feel like that the Patriots, over the last 10 years, we've had a voice as a whole, but there's a lot of little stories in there that I think that need to be told. And so I reached out to my buddy Christian Yingling, and I asked him if he wanted to work on a project with me. And I am kind of going along and collecting stories and different patriots that, found themselves in different places over the last 10 years that help us do the things that we need to do, which is raise awareness, stand up where we need to stand, and do what we're called to do. So I wanted to pin that so that the legacy would prevail. So
Very
Awesome.
nice.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I can't wait till it's out. When do you expect it to be out?
okay, so I'm looking on gathering up my stories this year, and I'm hoping to put something out. My trajectory, my hope is to be next January.
Okay.
And it's
That'd be awesome.
it's gonna and it's gonna cover from 2016 to 2026. And so that decade right there, a lot has happened, and I just I don't want our voices to be lost in the shuffle of things as they create their narrative. So
Yeah,
it's important.
Right. Right.
definitely.
I
So,
chose the title.
what's the story? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
No,
I
you're
was
good.
wondering about the story. The rancher guy from was it Las Vegas or something?
Oh,
With the cattle. That guy.
Cliven
I can't
Bundy
think
or
of his
Lavoy?
name.
yeah,
Cliven
that's what she's
Bundy or
talking about.
Lavoy Finicum?
That
Yeah,
one,
Christian.
Finnegan, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I couldn't think of his name. I just know the
Yeah, Lavoy
story.
Finicum. Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually in a couple of weeks it'll be the anniversary, 10-year anniversary, where he lost his life, standing up for his rights and standing up for his beliefs and standing up,
That's terrible.
it is. It took
Yeah, for his
place.
family, standing up for his land, his grandchildren, so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
part of the family
it's
values
quite
in
an
our
amazing story.
Constitution.
So, as a 3%er, yeah, there you go. I didn't
Yeah, I
know what a
remember
3%er was around this time. And I ended up with a couple of guys that kind of brought me in when they told me what they do and the Patriot work. I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. But it wasn't until I saw all that open up on TV, on the news and the different channels. They were putting the call out for
Right.
Patriots to show up. And when I really engaged in that story and was shocked that these things were going on, I was like
Mhm.
committed. I really,
Yeah.
and since then I have lived my life standing up where, that feeling that gets you, and
Yeah.
just doing the best that I can. It's kind of hard because I have a lot of kids. We have a lot of things going on here. I homeschool as well. But it's a passion, and I have to stay true to that. But
Right.
Christian, he was there. Well, not at that one. Why don't you tell them about that, Christian? How you came about
Yes. Tell us.
helping them out?
Um, so that
2014,
was
right?
that,
Is when it
yeah,
started.
yeah, 2014 is when it all actually started out in Bunkerville, Nevada. Uh, Bureau of Land Management was pressing ranchers to try to sell their land off because they wanted to put a Chinese owned wind farm in there,
Oh
a
my
solar
God.
farm.
Wow.
They had managed to run off quite a few ranchers. Then Cliven Bundy, uh, whose family had been ranching out there for over 150 years,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of he
Crazy.
decided he was going to take a stand on it. He said, "I'm not leaving."
Yeah.
And
Right.
of course, the family is so tight. Their whole family is just super tight, and
Hmm.
everything in that family that they do for each other. You know what I mean? Like this is as American
That's
as
nice.
you can possibly imagine this family. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're good
That's
God-fearing
awesome.
people, whatever. But
Oops.
at any rate, so Cliven decided he was going to make a stand. They tried finding him. You know, they tried like legally trying to force him into paying higher taxes.
Yeah. The back
The
for
whole
the grazing the cattle. That
yeah,
was the big. They were going to come.
right.
BLM was going to come and seize all the cattle. They showed up
No,
and
Right. That's what I
yeah.
remember too. Yeah.
they did show up and seize all the cattle. They showed up and they seized all the cattle. And when that happened,
Wow.
Cliven's son put out a call for militia from across the country to come help him.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And yeah, me and another guy I knew who I had literally just met in the movement. I was still pretty young in the movement at that time myself.
Yeah.
And but he called me on my way into work one night and he said, "Hey," um, he said, "We're wheels up in 30 minutes. Are you coming?" And I'm like, I'm like, dude, I'm
Guess
walking
so.
into work. I'm walking into work.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And I said, "Can I call you back?" And he was like, "Well, we're leaving soon, so I need to know." And I'm like, because we had spoken, about what was going on out in Bunkerville. You know what I mean, to some
Yeah.
degree, and well, to a great degree, I guess I should say. But as the problem is with social media is you may as well take every bit of it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you get 1,001 different accounts of what's going on out there.
Yeah.
That people are, embellishing stuff to, for clicks and likes, and it's just the world we live in now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but people want attention, and which is a big problem in the Patriot community, is that some
Yeah.
people are doing this for all the wrong reasons.
Well,
You
I
know,
call
as
it pulling the weeds to find the truth. That's what
right,
I
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
But so, long story short, a bunch of militia guys showed up out in Bunkerville. I was one of them. Myself and the guy I went down there with ended up pulling security on their front porch, so we got very close with the family.
Wow.
And so when everything happened in Oregon that Cam was referring to with the Melchior Wildlife Refuge,
Yeah.
Mhm.
uh, I spent a lot of time on the phone in that one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I saw a lot of bad things, very, very bad things happening from, again, like we were speaking about earlier, when you have that outside perspective, you
Yeah.
can see things that are happening, and the information I was getting from people, and I was trying to talk them out of there. I had spoken
Mhm.
with, oh my God, his name's like, I'm drawing a complete blank right now. Not
It's
Lavoy,
okay,
but
George.
thank you. Yeah. But
Amon Bundy.
Ammon,
Clyde.
Ammon, thank you.
There you go.
Ammon.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Ammon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Woo, we
God,
got
it's been a
this.
long enough
Woo,
time since I've had to say that name.
memory's
Woo.
working.
Anyway, um, but yeah, I had spoken to Ammon. I had spoken to his mother. That was when I met Lavoy, because I
Yeah.
talked to him too. And I mean, there's conviction But then there's you have to know when to draw a line. You know what I
Let
mean?
me
Like,
pull up a video really quick
Yeah.
of Mr. Finnegan,
Mhm.
Finnecum, and then I'll have you talk a little bit further on this, Christian.
okay.
No, George.
Ivan has stood. His boys are standing. I am standing. My daughters, my sons are standing beside me. There's much I have to live for that I don't want to lose. I have 19 grandkids and 2 on the way. My daughters all made a quick trip here because they didn't know if they'd see their dad again. But they stood beside me. They hugged me, they cried, and said, Dad, we're proud of you. You want your kids to do the same. It's not for your grandkids to do. It's not for your children to do. It's for you in this room to do now. If you do not do it now, you will have lost your opportunity in the course of the history of the world. It's for the common man to stand up. I'm putting everything on the line. I'm putting my life on the line. I'm putting my children's life on the line. And so you must decide for yourself. If you're not ready, that is fine. But for me, myself, just for Boy Finnecum, the simple man, the simple redneck, I will stand. And if it's only one person that will stand with me, then so be it. If I stand by myself, then so be it. But I am not by myself. The Bundys are beside me. That rancher that's coming all the way here from New Mexico, he's putting everything he has on the line. He is willing to stand up to Goliath. This Saturday, he is going to sign that. He does not care the ramifications that will come upon him and his family. He does, but he will stand.
So you're absolutely right, Christian. A lot of conviction. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
standing
and
up for
I-
what
and
he
I-
believes his truth is. Yes.
I should clarify when I say, conviction is because I didn't really kind of finish that statement.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
when I said, you have to have conviction to do something like what they did, like what I did, like what a lot of people did.
Scary.
But at the same time, you have to know when you have to know when to stop talking and start listening.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because there's sometimes when people are giving you good, solid, information, but you're so blinded by whatever it is you're passionate about. In this case, it, was with the whole ranching, issue, and
Yeah.
but and that's a problem. That's a problem for the Patriot community. You know what I mean? Because there's stuff that both sides do wrong, right? There just
Yes.
is, and we tried to learn from that stuff and fix that stuff.
Yeah.
But the Patriot community is a very unforgiving one. And so I guess here we are.
Well, it worked though, because I just read an article, I want to say maybe a couple weeks ago, where they covered, they went back to the ranch and covered, what's going on 10 years later, almost 10 years later. And they have their cattle. They're doing the same thing that they were doing before all this mess started. So that right there, I feel like is a win. And seeing Lavoie speak,
Mhm.
definitely lit a flame in my heart, and I think I owe a lot
Yeah.
of the work that I've done
I mean,
to his
there,
passion. I think everyone has to decide for themselves what hill that they're willing to,
To climb. Yeah. I
yeah,
agree.
and
and
I agree.
therein lies the problem.
yeah.
Mm.
Therein
Deciding.
lies the
Tell me,
problem
Christian, tell me what's on your
because
mind.
morality is a fickle thing. My good may not be your good. What you may be okay with, I may not be okay with. Okay.
I
True.
guess.
Now, speaking from a commanding officer standpoint,
Yeah.
that is a huge, huge pain in the ass. Because I mean, well, in all seriousness, you make decisions at a command level, and
Yeah.
you try to do that with the best interest of your people, your community, your country,
Hmm.
all in mind. But if one
Yep.
person doesn't like one facet of this op, well, they're just not going to show up,
Probably.
Yeah.
right? They're just
Right.
not going to show up.
Yeah. I've seen it time and time again for sure.
Well,
Yep.
Hmm.
that becomes a real issue when you are walking into a very contentious situation like we did in Charlottesville, where I was told up to the moment that I left my house in Pennsylvania to drive down there that we were going to have 150 people on the ground.
Okay.
Wow.
We had 32
Whoa.
against
Big
6,000
difference.
Yeah.
against 6,000 violent
Whoa.
protesters
Ooh,
with no police support whatsoever.
damn.
Wow. So that's definitely not a hill to stand firm on.
No, yeah, for real, it's not. But the frustrating part about it is, and after I, started getting into it in 2016, found myself with the Three Percenters Original, worked with them for a while, worked my way up. So I was Virginia State lead there. And we saw the same problems. We we did everything to try to convince people to do what they came in and applied for and said they wanted to do, which was ridiculous because we put so much time and energy, and effort in securing people to train these people, putting in the funds to, make an FTX that people are going to really, not only enjoy, but actually learn. Trying to get people to plug into their local area, like, get some training. And it was like pulling teeth. But if you had a fireside meet and greet, people want to show up, and yeah, you know how that goes. And it's like,
Right.
bro, where were you when we, marched in Richmond, or
Right.
so it's such a frustrating thing to try to organize people.
So
Yes.
it's yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, it is a conviction thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always had a saying back in the day when I was in the militia that everybody wants to be in the militia till it's time to do militia shit.
Yep.
You know, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew some units that had that on their vehicles. I mean, they were so serious about that, and
Yeah.
they're right. You know what I mean? They're right. That is one area where the political left owns the political right in every make and manner. Is when it comes
Yeah.
time to get out to get their feet out on the ground, to get out there to protest,
Right.
they all show up. The
Yeah.
groups show up that have nothing to do. You're seeing it right now in Minnesota. Groups are showing up protesting climate change down there.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
the hell
right.
does climate change have to do with an ICE agent shooting an unarmed woman? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Nothing. But that's just how the left is. When it comes to activism, they
That's
have
because
the right.
evil never sleeps.
Well, they
Right. Yeah.
right.
It's always lurking somewhere.
You can you can call it evil. You can call it intelligence. You could call it lack of intelligence. I don't know. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you have to pay attention to the fact that they're showing up and we're not.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah, I
we're
remember
not.
trying to
You know what
rally
I mean?
people, and I was lucky to get 10% of the people that were called to, rally. And then that was with trying to recall the governor of California. This is
Yeah.
was 6 years ago now, or five and a half years ago. And yeah, it was really difficult to activate people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we did an operation in Gettysburg.
Yeah.
At the time we had done that up, we had a long working relationship with Gettysburg. We'd been there, a few times doing the same stuff. Had a great working relationship with their police department. And
Yeah.
when we were down there and Antifa was getting, squirrely, it
Mhm.
wasn't just us and the Gettysburg police. I mean, Homeland Security was there, multiple county sheriffs were there, state police were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the conviction thing,
Yeah.
one of the requirements, because one of the biggest things that we tried to do back then was we wanted to establish a well-founded, well-operated working relationship with law enforcement.
Yes.
Right.
That's important. Yeah.
It was of the utmost importance to us because in our eyes, we watched all these protests time and time and time again, and they send out 10 cops to try to deal with all these angry protesters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I found out what it was like, again, like I said, in Charlottesville. It's not fair to them, and what really angers me about it was this particular up in Gettysburg was the lead inspector who was kind of heading everything up with Gettysburg PD was he said, how would you feel about giving us a roster of your people? And I said, I don't have a problem with it. I said, I'll put it out to my unit COs. I'll put it out to, any groups that have reached out to me that are planning on coming, because we ended up with quite a few people there that day. And I did. And because we had an online chat back then where, our unit commanders all stayed in touch, and I kind of put stuff out to them, you know what I mean? Then they put it out to their people, and nobody seemed to have a problem with it. Everybody's like, all right, yeah, right on, let's do it. You know what I mean? And so we did. And anybody that individually had contacted me, I said, look, I need you to understand, if you're going to be a part of this operation, that your name is going to be forwarded to law enforcement.
Yeah.
Because common sense dictates that they're not going to put people out there that they don't know. You know what I mean? If you get tied up in a situation and you say, well, I'm with the militia, well, how do they know you're with us? You know what I mean?
Sure.
As was the case the very first time we went down there, when some random guy showed up, right? Some random kid showed up, shot himself in the leg with a .22 pistol. And everybody was like, oh, see, there's your militia, blah, 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 blah. He had no idea who this kid even was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just showed up.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
it's things that happen like that lead to,
Mhm.
if law enforcement was starting to take us seriously, you know what I mean? And they were starting to show signs of working with us. And I always laugh because, when they're out there on the street with us, right in front
Right.
of us, it's, you guys are all right, man. Like, I dig what you guys are doing, thanks.
Yeah.
But the second you put a camera in front of their face, oh no, we don't talk to the militia. Nope, nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope. Never talk to
Right.
the militia, ever, ever. But that's not the
Right.
case. That's not the
Yeah.
case. They did talk to us quite regularly, and
Yeah,
it
we
was
saw the
more.
same things here too. Yeah,
It was more than one. It was more than one branch of law enforcement that we had ended up working with. But
Good.
so and forgive me, I digressed a bit there, but coming back to the conviction thing.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to trumpet online how they support law enforcement,
Yeah.
right? Everybody wants to fly their little flags out in front of their house with their little blue stripe on it that says, "Oh, I support the law. I support the law. I support the police."
Mhm.
Yeah, right up until you give them their name, and then all of a sudden it's a problem. So do you see what I'm saying? It's like
Mhm.
that's where the militia needs to have a real come to Jesus meeting with itself, because it needs to either basically, and forgive my language, shit or get off the pot.
Right. Yeah.
Either get in the game or get gone. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But the old militia of the 70s and the 80s, of these redneck guys that are hanging out in some dude's shed back on his 40 acres of land and making bombs and planning to take the government over. That shit's gone, man. It's done. That's not that's just not what it is anymore. But
Right.
people need to either, like I said, if you're going to say you're going to be involved with this, then you got to be involved with it, because it doesn't succeed without its people. That's it. That's the biggest thing that hemmed me up as a commanding officer, was trying to get everybody on the same page. Talking to Patriots is like herding cats.
Yes.
Mhm.
You
It
know what I
is.
mean? We all
Yeah.
love
It
to
is.
watch these videos of the left acting like lunatics, but put 5 Patriots in a room together and bring up one hot button topic and watch the room dissolve into chaos. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's like,
I do.
so the right needs to get on the same page. You know what I mean? The militia needs to get on the same page.
Yeah.
And if you say you support law enforcement, then you need to get on that page too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't. And what I
Mhm.
found myself telling a lot of people after that, because I caught a lot of heat for that. People are calling me a Fed and this, that, and the other, and I was like, oh boy. But what I told people was, you don't get to dictate as a militiaman or a militiawoman. You know what I mean? A member of a militia. You don't get to dictate how you work with law enforcement. Okay. It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. The state has the monopoly on power. End of
Mhm.
story. They do.
Yeah.
If they want to, they can arrest you. You cannot arrest them. They can arrest you. Now, I mean, you can get into maritime law and you can start talking about arresting politicians and all that stuff, and that's a whole different podcast. You know what I mean? That's a whole different
Yep.
gaggle can of worms. I'm not even
Yeah.
going to touch.
Mm-hmm.
But in the normal world, you can't go out arresting law enforcement. So, therefore, if you want to work with law enforcement, you want to say you want to work with law enforcement, well, then guess what? You have to work with law enforcement the way law enforcement wants to work with you.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
I
it
mean,
does.
Yeah.
you don't get to dictate the rules to them.
Right.
You know, you don't get to walk out onto a national battlefield with a loaded weapon in your hand and not have them know who you are.
Right.
Right.
Just like they wouldn't let any state trooper walk out there without knowing who they were. They wouldn't let any sheriff's deputy walk out there without knowing who they were. They wouldn't let any ambulance EMS crew walk out there.
Nobody.
Everybody was documented.
Yeah.
Everybody was accounted for, and there's reasons for that. And the Patriot community didn't understand that. You know what I mean? And I tried to explain it to them, and a lot of people they slip into that back into that conspiracy mindset. Oh boy, okay, you know, the feds are out to get me now. No, it's not. The feds are not out to get you. Stop it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Not saying they haven't tried some shenanigans. You know what I mean? And when they've tried those shenanigans in the past, they've always got caught up in it, and you know what I mean? And it fell apart on them. That's why I told them, I said, you need to stop trying to hunt us down, and we need to stop making you look bad. Because we always do. We always end up making them look bad, you know, because they will sink to some pretty low lows and turn their heads on some laws, you know what I mean, to get information on what the militia's doing, what the Patriot community's doing. Especially if it's a Democrat in office. You know, that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
You know, that makes it even worse. But that doesn't mean it stops with the Republicans in office either, because anybody
look what everything that's going on right now. I think that this is definitely definitely a pivotal time in our movement.
You just go read the National Defense Authorization Act. You know what I mean? Just go read it, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about just how much the government is looking out for your best interest.
You know what I mean?
That's why it's time now for, you know, the Patriots to unite in a different way than they have in the past. Coming together with the same goals and not necessarily forcing all these ranks and like the passion's not there for the Patriots. And I hope that it gets there real quick, because I think a lot of people are going to be pretty shocked where all this is going, even though we see it coming, but seeing it coming and experiencing it.
Well, you know, how many people have said, you know, watch this stuff happen on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or whatever the app of the day, whatever the app of the day is. And they're like, oh man, I'm glad that, you know, that's not in my town, until it is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, wow. Like, a prime example, with all the illegal immigration and stuff like that, there was a very pervading mindset, at least where I live, because I live in a very rural area.
Me too.
There was kind of a pervading mindset that people weren't all that worried about it. You know what I mean? Because we weren't seeing any of that here. Yeah. Until we were. Yeah. And now we are. And now it's here. You know what I mean? And I see it day to day. You know,
I'm in Southwest Missouri, and it's creeping up over here. I'm, you know, outside of the city in a rural area, and it's I mean, we can see it.
Yeah, and it's not all roses where, you know, the people on the conservative right tend to believe that all these illegal immigrants are getting free benefits, but that's not the case, because a lot of them are they came over illegally. They're not coming over and filing for programs, you know what I mean? They're coming across the border, they're hopping on a bus and they're hauling ass to like Pennsylvania or wherever they're going. Right. You know what I mean? And as an EMS provider, I see it. I see it in the hospitals, you know what I mean? I see, and I hear from nurses and about how, you know, there's just a huge number of illegal immigrants that are coming in that have no medical insurance. Yeah. And we can't turn them away. Correct. You know what I mean? We can't turn them away as medical providers. We can't. Which again puts a huge drain on the system. You know, and we don't have to go into all that. We all know.
Yeah, yeah. It's bringing the
That's
price up
another
on everything.
episode.
Right. I mean, back when I was kind of in my heyday,
Yeah.
we had definite visions of where we wanted the militia to go, and one of the big things was, we regularly reached out to the left, to groups like the John Brown Gun Club and the Redneck Revolt. You know what I mean? The quote unquote left wing militias.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to have to fight people. We don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? My thing
Right.
was, I don't want to train people to want to fight. You know what I mean? I want to train people to know how to fight if the fight comes to them.
Yes.
Correct.
That
Don't
was
look for it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Don't go look for it. But if it comes to you, you can
Then
handle
you're
your
ready.
business. Yeah, you can
Mhm.
handle. You can take care of your family.
Yes.
Mhm.
But looking at it now in the context of what has happened since all that, and where we're at socially now, I don't know that I could have those same conversations, because the left is becoming so radicalized, and
Yeah.
what was once the moderate Democrat is now a blue-haired raving Karen who's trying to run over an ICE agent in Minneapolis or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I forgive me, I shouldn't say that, because that was like super disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's really funny though.
I don't mean any disrespect to that woman or her family. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
That's
you
funny
know
though.
you know the type of people I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's these
Yeah,
people
it's a
that
typical stereotype right now, unfortunately.
it is.
And yeah,
It is.
absolutely no disrespect, but yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean, I like I said, I don't mean, and I even in some ways I applaud their level of devotion and commitment to their cause.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
wish we could see. I don't want to say more of that in the conservative movement, because I don't want to allude to the fact, because some chucklehead out there will say, "Oh, look, he supports running people over." No, I don't.
Right.
You know,
It's not what you said.
an ounce of common sense is all it takes.
yeah.
But I'd like to see the right show some more passion in what they say they believe, because
Right.
right now the conservative right's passion in this country, as I see it and as I saw when I was in the militia,
Yeah.
ends at a keyboard.
Right.
It ends at a keyboard.
Yeah.
I would in all my 10 years of being in the militia, I could probably count to you on one hand the number of people that if I picked up my phone and said, "We got to go handle some business," would be saying, "Where do you want to
Right.
meet at?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And thank you. That's what the militia needs more of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just have to be very cautious to clarify that. You know what I mean? I'm not endorsing going out and committing acts of violence against the left, because I'm
Oh,
not. I
no,
never
not
would.
even.
I
Right.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is the right needs to start taking a lesson from the left in their passion in the causes that they support. You know what I mean? I don't
Right.
care if it's your gun wielding Second Amendment, militia guy, or
Mhm.
if you are, a pro life supporter, or you don't
Mhm.
want trans people in your kid's locker room, whatever your deal is, you know what I mean? If it's
Yeah.
Right.
like a right wing espoused ideal, then I think people need to start getting more passionate about it. They need to start standing
Absolutely.
up.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
when Charlie Kirk was just killed,
Oh, I was just watching that again on the
yeah,
podcast.
I think you saw a lot. I think you saw a lot. I think you saw an awakening, definitely, in
Mhm.
this country, a
Yes.
religious
Yeah.
awakening.
Yes.
There's absolutely an insane religious awakening.
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
wish the patriotic portion of
Yes.
that he spoke of all the time would have been more focused on. You know what I mean? Not that
Yes.
I
Yeah.
would ever put the patriot movement above God. No, I would never
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
But I
But
just
the
think
times
that
are changing now, though, I think.
he was trying to educate these kids, and he was making headway with them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He was making headway with them, so they killed him for it because that's what they do.
Mhm.
But the right should have responded, not in kind, but in force. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mean by acting forcefully, but they should have turned out for that. I mean, in other countries, millions of people were marching in the streets.
Yeah.
For Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And here, the only place people were marching was on their keyboards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to have a whole lot less of that and a whole lot more of this, you know?
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah, it's important, especially for the future generations. That's why I try to stay as involved as I possibly can.
Right.
And, if the passion hits, I'll be somewhere where the spirit calls me because
Right.
I have a lot of eyes watching me. And I
Mhm.
feel it very important to show them that you stand when it's time to stand.
Yes.
And whatever that looks like,
Yeah.
you see it through to completion,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Right.
But we need more people that think like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone has their lives and their kids. I mean, I homeschool 9 kids. I have 11 in total. And so,
Damn.
yeah, girl.
Right? That's what I
That's what I
said.
said.
Yeah, our oldest, he's actually with the local sheriff's department here. He's been there for a few years, and he went right into it from homeschooling. So,
Oh, nice.
Wow.
yeah, we're
Nice.
very
Awesome.
proud of him. But he's there because he's passionate about the things that he believes in, and so that bleeds right through to his line of work as well. And that's
Mhm.
what I'm trying to teach my children. It's so much more going on than you realize. We're just seeing the
Mhm.
tip of the iceberg. And then the tip that we're seeing is what they want us to see. And if
Yeah.
you
Right. That's it.
don't start questioning everything on
Yeah.
both sides
Right.
constantly, and then doing the work to research that and talk to people and, do the things
Mhm.
that you need to do, whether it be training or learning how to live off the land, or where's your food going to come from when you
Yeah.
can't get it at the store.
Right.
Giving them because I believe eventually it's all going to go to hell. We all believe that, right? To an
Yeah.
extent, and
It already
it's
is.
showing, and it's
No,
flying that way. But
no,
like,
it's not. That make my job really
who would
hard.
I be if I didn't prepare them for that? Because
Right.
somebody's got to pick up the bar 15, 20, 25 years from now. And if we don't take
Mhm.
the time to get them off of their video games or their social
Right.
medias, which I don't allow my children to do, but we're going to lose the opportunity, and they're just going to go into the system. They're just going to go back into the machines, and they're going to pump out complacent people who are willing to just sit there and take whatever they give us. But the Constitution, right, is our saving grace, and all we need to do is like grab that and live that.
Yeah.
Well,
Correct.
We
but
have
Mhm.
these Bill of
those,
Rights that basically say, hey, you don't give us these rights. It's given to us by our Creator,
well,
right? So they are what they are, and you can't do anything about that. And I think people
Mhm.
are afraid to implement the will of the people because we've been conditioned to do the opposite and just be, lukewarm.
Complacent.
And
Yeah.
if we don't stand up and teach people and be loud, then no one's going to listen. No one's going to hear.
Mhm.
And so we plant the seeds and we see where the crop's going to yield. But it takes, okay, buddy, it takes commitment, and it takes time, and it could take time
Mhm.
away from your family. I can't, like, I have an amazing husband. He'll hold the fort down if I have to go and do something. But, if I can make it out there having 11 kids at home, guys, and rearrange
Yeah.
things because, our liberty is the most important thing that we
Yes.
have. I think people just need to wake up and quit making excuses and come together and make the changes that they want to sit around and talk about.
well,
Right.
That's
I
just me,
agree.
though.
I generally just tell people, you know, when it comes to the whole commitment thing, is that, you know, everybody wants to look at our founding fathers. Well, when our founding fathers were crossing the Delaware on Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty safe to say none of them wanted to be there. They all had other things they probably much rather would have been doing at that
Yeah.
moment.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, the kids' little league game wasn't all that important that night. You know, it. But you know, and I joke about it, but she's right. You know,
Yeah.
It is
she
true.
really is right. If if this movement is to ever gain any traction, then people are going to have to learn to start making hard sacrifices.
Yeah.
You know, I made those sacrifices
Yeah.
365 days a year, 7 days a week for 10 years. You know, my
Mhm.
family got death threats. My young children received
Wow.
death threats.
Mhm.
I I just quit counting. I just started giving people my address. Like,
Here you go.
come,
Come get me.
yeah, come on over. I'll leave a light on for you. You know, I just got tired of hearing it. Um, but in all seriousness, you know, I missed birthdays and I missed anniversaries. My daughter's birthday, I was in Charlottesville.
Wow.
I've missed anniversaries, I've missed holidays, you know, and
Yeah.
because I made a decision, just like I made a decision that night before I went to Bunkerville, which kind of started this whole ball rolling. I was sitting there
Right.
staring at a clock and I said, you know what? Either you got to put up or shut up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I walked out of
Yep.
work and I drove 43 hours to Bunkerville so I could put up, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't
Mhm.
change. I wouldn't change that I did it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't change that I did because nobody will ever question. I don't care who they are. Nobody will ever
Yeah.
have any ground to stand on when it comes to questioning my dedication to this movement because
Right.
I have
Yep.
literally sacrificed absolutely everything, and not only have I, but a very select group of other people who
Mhm. Yep.
who really have
So
given way more than they should have.
For sure.
You know,
And that
suggestions on
burden
how to.
should be bared by all of us, and that's where the problem is, because hey, our spouses, our kids, they're not going to understand. um you know, they're going to have real problems, and your life might even be more miserable, trust me. But
do you know how happy I was when I called my wife from work saying pack my gear and she's like, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to Nevada."
right,
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's how
can't
it
even
happened.
imagine.
Yeah,
wow.
she was. Yeah, she
You
didn't
just
speak
got you got to
like
do it because it's
yeah,
important. If we don't do it
Yeah.
and inspire others to join us,
yep. Then who
then
will?
we might as well just go ahead and like pull
Hang it
out
on
the
up.
prayer mats, because
Yep.
this country
Yeah.
is falling so hard and so fast. And the people that are going to be in control of it, no matter which direction they come from, do not have our best interests in the long run. And I think we
Exactly.
all
Right.
know that. And people are, and I feel like I'm outside of the box a little bit, even in the Patriot community, because I'm not just going to jump on any bandwagon, rather it be
Mhm.
ICE or Trump or, you know, whatever, because that's what we do. We all stick together on this narrative because I question everything. So I have my
Yeah.
opinions on everything. But
Yeah.
at
And
the
we
end of the
should.
day,
Mhm.
we need to come together and we need to do something. And it needs to be
Mhm.
fast, and it needs to be, you know, your heart needs to be in it, and it needs to be smart. But it needs to happen.
So
And
a
yeah,
question I have.
yeah.
What will you suggest to do to activate people?
Have a
So
foreign entity invade us.
Okay.
I know.
that's a
I'm
little
not
too
going to
late,
make that
right?
phone call. I'll tell you that.
So
as ridiculous as that sounds,
No,
that
you're right.
that's
Something tragic.
probably the only way that you're going to
for
see
sure. But
the
see, I'm
people
a
like
dreamer. So
the
I
patriot
believe that we
movement come
can
together.
come together. I believe that people can be inspired. That's why I wanted to do this book. That's why I wanted to do this podcast.
Yeah.
That's why I
Mhm.
reached out to Christian and I was like, hey, man, what's going on? The world's so crazy. Where are you, bro?
Right.
Right. So
I'm still here.
I hope that the people that are watching and will watch, I
Yeah.
hope that something inside of you, whatever your passion is, to answer your question, rather it be, you know, you're in the preppers community, or, you know, you're good with comms or the ham radio or whatever it may be. Like, we all have to eat this elephant, so to speak, and it's one bite at a
Mhm.
time, and everyone
Right.
can bring to the table something
Something. Right.
amazing as
Well,
long
you
as
can,
we come together and stop the drama and the arguing amongst each other and do what is there that's like in our grasp. It's the supreme law of the land has ensured a clause in there, and all we have to do is come together as we the people and implement what needs to be done.
Right.
It's
Like-
tough, it's rough, it sucks, but it
or
needs
you
to
could
be
just
done.
you could just shorten it all up and just say shit or get off the pot. There you go.
Correct.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
took the easy way there, Christian.
That's really what hey, I like to keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I love it.
there's more important shit we need to
I
be
love my
talking
words
about.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say a lot of words to get there. So
Yeah.
I've done my years of giving speeches. I'm good with all that now. Now it's just let's be simple, kick them in the teeth, and get this over with.
I mean, here
Right.
we have
but
right below me
the
here is
people, they
a
still
mom
need
of
to hear these
11.
things, I think, because they're
Yeah.
not here. Where are they? Where is everyone?
So
I
we have a
mean, we can all find them on Telegram, but are they
Right.
meeting face to face?
Yeah.
I know my
Yeah.
answer.
Right.
right. Yeah, show some face value.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
really
there you go.
important.
Yeah.
Not on the camera. I'm talking in person.
Yeah. How
For
am I
sure.
how am I supposed to trust you with my life if I can't even trust you to be standing in front of me to shake my hand?
Right.
Right.
You know, like
Correct.
Right.
And
Yeah.
here's the secret. Because a lot of my guys, they would say, "Oh, well, I don't want to go to this meeting because it's, it's really far away from me." But then you move it, and then the other guy's like, "Oh, that's so far away from me now." I'm like, guys, like, what is your liberty and your everyday life worth to you?
mhm.
Because trust me, when I was doing, TTPO, right, we were planting different. We drove all over Virginia, hours and hours and hours, to go and show them how important it is to meet each other face to face, and just hope to God that they
Right.
continue that.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's just it's tough and it's sad, but
Mhm.
I was
maybe
out
it'll
in my
change.
wheelchair rolling 25 miles round trip just to make things happen.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
the passion's there, it won't matter. And I think that's where people, and like, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I have my guesses of why people are yes, you
I
heard
am
that
too.
right.
Let me get my
George,
tinfoil hat. real quick.
George, stay with me now.
George, come on now.
There is a reason why
I
people.
checked out at conspiracy theorist. Here we go. All right.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I believe there's a reason why people are so passive and nonchalant, and I think that health is a big part of it too.
Mhm.
I think if
Yeah.
you really do your research and implement these things that you learn about, you're like, oh, wow, this food is not good for us. We'll stop eating it, right?
Right.
Right. Right.
Like, truth
It's
now,
easy.
do something about it. And it comes in many different forms. And I think
Right.
that we'll become a stronger, more clear-minded people if we just stop buying into everything they're selling us.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. It's
I
true.
stopped watching TV and a majority of movies. I've only watched 2 or 3 movies last year. It gives us false sense of accomplishment
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, right,
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely.
and reality for that matter too.
Well,
Thanks,
that's what
Christian.
But
I
they're
tell
so
people.
fun.
I tell people that all the time. It's that it's truly frightening when
Mhm.
you
It
stop
is.
and you sit down and think that there are people out there, and it could be any one of you, or even me. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I've fallen victim to it at one point or another. We all
Right.
have.
Yeah.
Where you
Mhm.
start to build your reality, your entire reality, everything you see
Yeah.
about the world, you're basing off of what you see on your cell phone screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
That's
news
scary.
feed.
That's scary shit right there.
It is.
That is
Yeah, it's
control
weird.
on a whole
Yeah.
new level. You know
Oh,
what
and
I
what's
mean?
really scary is our kids are born into that with the
Yep.
Oh,
screen in
it's
their hand
worse.
practically.
Yep.
Worse.
And every parent out
Mhm.
there, it just hands their kid that cell phone, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
This instant
I hear.
babysitter.
that's a
Yeah.
dangerous
hear.
Good for you.
weapon.
Good for you,
That's a
Cam.
that
That's
is a
awesome.
dangerous weapon.
It
You know
is.
what I mean?
It
It's
is.
a dangerous weapon, and information is a powerful tool. And in the hands of a young child who doesn't know better, who doesn't
Mhm.
understand the intricacies of the world, the way it works, and hell, most
They need to
adults
look
don't
at both
anymore.
sides. You
Yeah,
Both
always
sides
got to
of
look
wisdom
at
too.
both sides
but
and
who
make
does
your own
that?
decisions.
But who does
Yeah.
that? You know what I mean? Like, in
Yeah,
your
I
own
do.
home. You know what I mean? In your own home, I'm sure you have your own political views, and you and
Right.
your family probably talk about your views, right?
Yeah.
And because you're raising your children in the light that in the light of your views, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I feel is important to me, and this is what I want to be important to my kids.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we ever teach our kids, go out and make up your own mind.
Yes.
That's right.
Get online, you read some actual real information,
Right.
and make an informed decision. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's
And
hard.
I think,
Very
yeah, it is hard. It is hard, and it's hard to
Because you
monitor.
don't
And
get both sides all the time. You only get one
that's right.
side fed to you, right? You
That's
get
right.
one side
You
Yeah,
know,
always
takes
shoved down
work.
your throat.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
If you're conservative, you're listening to Fox News. If you're
Right.
a liberal, you're
Right.
listening to CNN. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
And you
It's
can sit
true.
there and watch them make fun of each other all day long, but at the end of the day, what you have is a very confused populace walking around right now because
Right.
nobody really knows what's going on.
Well, that's a
It's
lot of
true.
You
political
know.
theatrics too, and I stay away
Yeah.
from that stuff.
But yeah, but political theatrics, man, is what gets shit done in this country.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because they drive off of emotion,
Yep.
Right. Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
not
Well,
facts.
so even the right,
Yeah.
even the right. Don't think for a second Donald Trump wasn't playing on patriotic emotion when he got himself elected. You know what I mean? He knew what he was
Yeah.
doing. You
Yeah.
know, he knew that there was a huge portion of the country out there that was being misrepresented and that was, wanted recognition and wanted, to be respected. And he dove on that and he won an election with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So political theatrics, Charlie Kirk getting shot, all that, man, it
Yes.
all has a role. It all plays a role. It's all
Sure.
psychological warfare.
It
But I'll
is.
tell
The
you what, a
world
lot of
stage. Yep.
Republicans woke up the very next day
Yeah.
who
Mhm.
one day were thinking, taking their three-finger selfies, you know what I mean, when their pictures of their AR-15, who are waking up a little bit scared, going,
Right.
"Holy shit, they're shooting back."
Mm.
You know what I mean? And they looked at the world a little differently that day. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Right.
it's a very, very sobering occurrence. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It really,
Definitely.
really did
Well,
a
we
lot.
had a bunch of flooding in our part of town, so we spent our holidays, our Patriots, helping people not get mud and dirt like in their entire houses, trying to stop it from coming in, helping them
Mm.
shovel it out. So for 2 weeks straight, we have been doing that. And
Good.
there has been people that have came from other areas that we talked to, so we got to meet them.
Yeah.
And so
Good.
we sort of all got together with them, and we have all of our certain neighbors that we know are going to step up. We know those people really well. They were out there shoveling right alongside of us in pouring
Awesome.
down rain. I
Good.
mean, we were
Oh, yeah.
drenched.
See,
Hey,
some hope.
but you know
Yeah,
what?
there
Yeah,
is hope. There is
because
hope,
hope is
people.
that's a level
Yeah,
of
there is.
camaraderie, and it breeds hope, and it
Yes.
makes people
Yeah,
feel a little bit better in a otherwise
For
shitty
hopefully.
sure.
situation. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I hope that
a little bit
somebody's going to be there for you.
a little bit of hope goes a long way. You
It
know what I
does.
mean?
It
This
does.
is the
Seeing good
tragedy you
people.
were talking about earlier, is that, as far as like our country getting invaded, for people to step up. We
Right,
had
right.
natural disaster happen in Southern California, and people are stepping up to just help out one another.
It's
Be
amazing. Mhm.
the right
And they
people.
need to. You know what I mean? And I hate that it takes. It tears my heart out that it takes that kind of occurrence
Right.
Right.
to get people to just set their phone down for a second and say, screw all this political bullshit. I'm not looking at it. See, that's what I've done over the last 2 years. I literally
Mhm.
shut the news off. I
Yeah.
shut it off.
Mhm.
I shut my cable off. The
Yeah.
only thing I watch is
Ditto.
YouTube
Yep.
videos about dumb stuff that nobody but me likes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Ed, it is such a huge weight off of your shoulders. You know
It
what I mean?
is.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
like in my job, I have to work with some weird people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Good way to
people
put it.
who are into some weird stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Weirder than us, George?
Oh
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Christian.
yeah,
Way weirder?
yeah.
Okay.
Way
I doubt
weirder, way scarier. It's an interesting job.
it.
Um,
It's funny.
but what it does is, like I said, trying to unplug from that as much as I can. Now, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I didn't stop paying attention to the news cycle entirely because you'd be
Right.
stupid if you did that. You know what I
Right.
mean? You have to kind
Yeah.
of know what to expect.
I know.
But I'm not nearly as heavily like I lived it every day for 10 years. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It was
Right.
my
Right.
TV never left Fox News. You know what I mean? Ever for
Right.
10 years. It was
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
I
I
look
get
at
it.
it now I look at it once a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, because why?
Well,
know?
that's just it. Well, because because it enables me to like still be able to talk to these people when they're in the back of my ambulance. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
there you go. Yeah,
You know,
that's good.
you still got to be able to be human to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, I didn't want to pick sides before, and now where this country is, I have absolutely picked a side. I'm not I'm not trying to hide the fact that I've picked a side,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I can't reason with somebody who refuses to be reasoned with.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I can treat you nice for a couple of minutes if I'm treating you. I can get you out of the back of my ambulance, and then chances are I'm going to spend the rest of my shift making fun of you. But that's just how it is. You know, that's just how it's got to be.
Yeah.
I'm team we the people. Right?
Yeah, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
it you still got to be human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, you
Right.
got to be human at the end of the day. And the more, and I really dig the fact that I'm seeing on like the on Facebook on their Reels section where you're starting to see a lot more. I mean, while of course you are seeing more of the political rhetoric, blah blah blah, because you just can't get away from it. But what I find to be interesting is that you're starting to find a lot more human interest stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm sure you guys have probably seen the videos of guys walking up to homeless people on the street and handing them $1,000 and
Yeah.
saying,
I've seen
"Here,"
that.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just because,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah.
You know, and
Mhm.
you see human interest stories like that. It lets you know there's still hope for humanity. You know, we just got to pull
Oh,
our
that's
collective
good to know.
we just got to pull
That's
our
good.
collective heads out of our asses and open our eyes
Right.
to it.
Right.
That's
Right.
right.
So
That's right. I agree.
that's my take on it. You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're getting really close to winding up and wrapping up here. Any final words, Cam?
Any final words?
Well, we can continue on another part at a later time.
Well, I will say this: if they take anything from this, it's ask yourself what you're passionate about, and then do something about it, please, and
Mhm.
commit to it and see it through to completion.
I agree.
Or simply said, shit or get off the pot.
Yeah. Even
Yep.
better, like George says.
Like
Yeah.
George
Christian.
Final thought: shit or get off the pot. Thank you
I
very much.
love
Amen.
that. That's
Amen.
great.
We love you,
Yay.
That's
Detroit.
today's motto.
Yes. Now we all need to get out there.
Not
We need to, lay an example for our children.
For
Right.
sure.
Right.
Teach the
Amen.
Otherwise,
lions, not the sheep.
Yeah, my kids,
yes.
my kids will never look back and go, "My dad didn't try to do something." My
Yeah.
dad
Right.
was a nut. My dad was a nutcase.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thing. That's not a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Yep.
No, my son's old enough now that he understands why I did it. He is 100% on board with it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He is like, I
Well,
we raised him right. You know, we raised
it's
him
our
right.
country.
Awesome.
It's
Yep,
our country, right?
yep, we raised
I
him
think it's
right.
our country.
He never got in any
So
trouble, and he stands up for what he believes in. So
that's right.
That's
good
good.
kid. He's a good
That's
kid.
good.
All
Sounds
my
like a
And
good level
and
head,
Cam has like a whole army over there. Look.
right?
Working
That's
on it. Yep.
she
Yep.
she is
They're okay.
she's breeding her own army to take the
Right.
U.S. back. You
I
know,
do what I
so
can.
I love
yeah,
it.
I
Well,
keep
I
her.
love
let's,
it.
ladies and gentlemen, let's raise our lions and not sheep, and get out there and do something. Don't be
That's
Right.
right.
warriors.
Right.
There's three
That's
parts
right.
to a prayer. There's the thought, the spoken word, and then the action. And
Right.
don't
Absolutely.
forget that third part.
Yeah,
So
That's right.
with
that's
that
what we're
said,
lacking
ladies,
is the action. Exactly. Well put.
with,
Well put. Well
thank
done.
you.
Yeah, Tim's a very smart guy.
Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to join in next week. We're going to have a couple of wonderful guests. Be sure to listen in on all our social medias: Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, iHeart, and Apple Podcasts. There's a lot to go through, and I'm on most of the social medias that you don't have to pay for. So look for it at Tim Holliday TV. That's TimHolliday TV. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, ciao for now.